love that damn thing. I just absolutely love it. So that says fishy jerks. I don't know if you can understand it, but that's what I call the people who watch the channel, Joe, is fishy jerks. Hey, everybody, what's happening?
Hey,
People are trickling in. Real quick, Joe, I'm going to give them a rundown just in case anybody's new here. And everybody, thanks for coming in. You know Joe. I bet you all know Joe. We're going to learn more about him. We're going to be dropping his links. In fact, I already see his store, joeshrimpshack.com. He also does a Wednesday live stream every Wednesday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Central Time.
Okay, so 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And he's also very, very heavily involved in the fish fam with Aquashella. He was a judge. He's also, we're going to get into some of that, but he just does a lot for us. He's donated to the fish fam Christmas. He's just, he's a pillar of the community.
Thank you.
And but anyways, you guys, most of you, I'm not seeing any new names in here yet, but you guys know how this works. The whole first half, it's just going to be Joe and I having a conversation. We're not going to be looking at the chat whatsoever. If you've got questions or you're saying hi and we don't respond, that's why. We're not dissing anybody. The second half, we'll open it up and we'll get questions from you guys for Joe. And we're trying to make it a little bit more personal. You know, if you want to ask some questions about shrimp or something, okay, but let's try and keep it more about Joe as a person and not Joe as a hobbyist and a business owner and you know, a judge and stuff like that.
You can message me. You can private message me on those if you want.
There you go. See, Joe is very approachable that way. He's also a big sponsor of the Aquatic Morning Show. I believe he's their main sponsor right now. So he's really helping out with that Aquatic Morning Show too, and really helping it to grow. So we appreciate the heck out of that as well. All right, so people are trickling in still. 30 people in right now. So we'll start it off. Joe, I know you live in Minnesota. Where are you at in Minnesota?
I live in Victoria, Minnesota.
I have no idea where that's at.
I'm roughly about 5 miles from where the Prince Palace was, or is still.
Okay, which still doesn't help me, but I do like Prince. What's the biggest town?
Mall of America. I'm about 20 minutes from Mall of America.
Okay. I've never been there, but yeah, everybody's heard of that. That thing's massive. It is still the biggest mall in America, I think, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, by quite a bit, I believe. And have you always lived in Minnesota?
I have always lived in Minnesota besides me being in the military.
Okay, which we'll touch on a little bit too. And you know what? Let's just go there. You were in the Army, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And well, you know what? Let's start way back.
Yeah.
Did you go right into the Army right out of like high school, or did you have other jobs before that, or sort of give us a rundown of that early life?
I grew up in a small farming town in Kimball, Minnesota. Graduating class was 18 people, I think. I got out of school early. I actually went in the military when I was 16. My dad signed me up with it. I wanted to go. He didn't force me. I wanted to go. I graduated school early because there's that least kids in there. So they do a lot of promotions within. Joined the military. Prior to that, I was working the farm, and I was also doing. I worked at Mueller Mink Ranch where I pelted mink. I worked at Burger King's before. I worked at Holiday Inns, Burnix Pepsi. Pretty much had a full-time job from when I was 12 on up. It's kind of what happens when you're in a small farming town.
Yeah. Definitely growing up on a farm. That's a full-time job, and it definitely farming kids usually have a pretty strong work ethic. I know that. I didn't grow up on a farm, but I do know plenty of farm kids who did that. So
I can work 7 days a week, and it doesn't bother me, but it affects everybody else that's around me.
Yeah, gotcha. It would bother me because I'm lazy as hell. But again, I'm retired now. I probably try to throw that into every stream just for all you people that aren't retired and are still out there, working the day to day, just to rub it in a little bit, just a little bit, just to, you'll get there though. I don't think you will, Joe, because I don't see you ever retiring. I see you taking steps back, but you'll probably always, right?
I'll always be doing something. If I'm not here, I'll be working at Walmart saying, hi, welcome to Walmart.
Yeah, gotcha. So how long were you in the military?
I was in the military for 4 years.
Okay. And did you see any action or anything? Were you like was that the time around?
I did get stationed overseas. Back when it was actually, you know, Desert Shield towards the end of Desert Shield before Desert Storm. I was over there. My NBC was 63 Juliet, which is NBC Chemical Weapon Repair. I got lied to by my recruiter. He said I was going to work on nukes. Yeah, not so much. I saw I. This is where I got to work with a lot of tear gas, CS gas, and that's why during the Floyd riots, when I was doing all the live streams and people were throwing tear gas at me, it didn't affect me just because I had such a high tolerance at the time. So yeah, I saw, back when Saddam Hussein might have had weapons of mass destruction, we did get called out for that. We didn't find anything. And then we got downsized. Good old Clinton downsized, and I had a choice: either stay full time and change my MOS, or be done with a good discharge and then have my full benefits still. I'm like, all right, we'll take that.
Bye. And
Yeah.
what'd you do?
I mean,
What'd you do?
I wish I would have stayed in there. I mean, I look back and I'm like, you know what? I should have just stayed in there, changed my MOS, and I would have been completely fine. But, you know,
Yeah. We all have some kind of regrets, I guess.
yeah.
What'd you do right after the military?
Right after the military, my dad called me up and he's just like, well, what do you want to do? I'm plugging my phone in, by the way. He's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, you know what? I lived on the farm. I'm kind of done with farm life. I saw that it took a lot of my childhood away because I didn't go to no dances. I didn't go to anything. I
Yeah.
said, I think I'm going to stay in the cities and go to college. So I ended up getting my nursing degree,
Cool.
and I worked at Unity Hospital for 6 years, I think it was, on the orthopedic floor. Had my oldest daughter at the time. Well, I pretty much had her within a year of me getting out of the military. And then I transferred to St. Cloud Hospital, and then I just got burnt out of the hospital. I did it for, I think it was like 9, 10 years. Just got burnt out a lot. I was working
Yeah.
tons of hours, overnights,
Yeah.
doing the trauma
Oh,
response
we're losing you a
team.
little bit.
Just got burnt out the labor. Oh, sorry.
We're losing you a little bit there. I think you're in a bad area.
Can you hear me now?
I understand that getting
All right,
burned
can you
out
hear
of
me
it.
now?
Yeah, yeah, you sound okay. My wife was also a nurse, and she worked for a oncology, a gynecological oncology place, and she got very burned out from it. Now she does front office stuff, but so I get that. I understand that burnout that nurses go through,
Well,
and just
mine
everybody
was. I
in
mean, I
the.
worked at
Go ahead.
industry. I mean, I worked at Unity Hospital. I worked at HCMC, which is the big trauma response teams. And I never lost any of my patients. But when I moved to St. Cloud, um, I lost a lot of my patients in the trauma response team due to the concept of it's not my job to do that. That's what I heard a lot.
Oh,
And by me constantly hearing that for a year, and I was just like, this is your job. This is medical. I don't care if you're not specifically designed to do that task. If you know how to do it, do it.
yeah.
And a lot of patients did pass away from that whole it's not my job. And I was like, I'm
Wow.
done. I just can't do this.
Wow. That's not something you like to hear. People just saying, I don't want to do that.
No,
When it comes to saving lives, I mean, it's not working at Burger King or something like that where you don't feel like taking the fries out of the fryer. Somebody's going to die. You can't
a
have that
lot of
kind of
people I
attitude.
think got the job at the time because it was, yeah, I think a lot of people got the job because it was good money at the time and not really dedicated. Like I went there because I wanted to help people. And that's why I still do right now is like if people want to be successful, I'm willing to help them out as much as possible.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. So what'd you do after the nursing stuff? What'd you get into after that? Uh oh. I think we're losing you again. You're giving me the stare. You got like the stink
I'm
eye
kind of
going on a little
I'm kind of
bit.
I'm in stop and go traffic. Usually it's never stop and go, but of course I'm doing live and it's stop and go.
Yeah.
So can you hear me fine
It's
now?
it's right now we can, but your video is choppy, so we'll see how it comes and goes. It sounds okay though, so it sounds great. What did you do after the nursing?
I'm trying to get through, so I should have just stayed at work.
Yeah, but then you would have had to keep working.
Let me see if I can do this.
Yeah, we'll give it a couple minutes here. We'll just keep going, and once I see the video loosen up a little bit, we'll get back into it. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's good to see. I see all the regular people in here. Appreciate it so much. And again, if you're not aware, we don't really look at the chat. The whole first part of the conversation will just be Joe and I talking. But if you've got questions for Joe, save them for the second half, and we'll ask those questions of Joe. Yeah, he's still frozen. So Joe has done a lot for the fish fam. Oh, I think you popped back. You look good.
Thank you. It's the one time that I'm gonna do a live. It's
Oh, damn it. I think we lost you again. It was great there for just a minute. Well, we'll keep working at it here. Yeah, for those that aren't aware, Joe, excuse me, Joe has offered up a all-in-one aquarium for the Fish Fam Christmas. Very cool, very nice one. He's also offered up a $50 gift card to his store, Joe's Shrimp Shack, which I can see the link has been dropped quite a bit in the chat there. So there's also he's also given us a fertilizer kit from Liquid Garden. People that he sells their dry fertilizers, very cool fertilizers. And he actually has a live stream where he talked to the guy who makes it, who is a friend of his. And I forgot the gentleman's name. I think it's something like Mike Vorts or something like that. I'm sorry. I apologize. I forgot his name. But he's also given us one of those dry fert kits to go with it. So we've got the aquarium. We got a $50 gift card for his amazing shrimp, and we've also got the fertilizers for plants and stuff. So he's really doing a lot for us for the Fish Fam Christmas. And if you didn't know, Joe is very involved with the shrimp contest. I can't remember what it's called, and hopefully people in the chat will remember. But it's like the IOC. It's like the international. Oh, we lost him. 100%. Okay, he'll be back. I can't remember what it's called, and I'm hoping that there's some of the shrimpy people in the chat who will remember. But there's an international competition. And there's also the American Shrimp Competition, and he's heavily involved with both of those things. And he was a judge at Aquashella. So as I see Papa Shrimp is in here, he's also a judge in that. Oh, there he is. There we go.
So I think I figured out what it is. Is I have my phone plugged in charging, and I think my phone was overheating trying to do a live.
Oh, gotcha.
So I got the air conditioner blowing on it right now.
All right. Well, if it gets too bad, I don't want you to damage your phone. If it gets too bad, we can reschedule it and do it another time.
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay.
No.
So I ran
Minnesota,
down some of the
air conditioner 30 degrees.
See it? You're breaking up again already. It looked great too there for a second. See, now it looked okay. It's coming and going.
Yeah.
There we go. The International Shrimp Contest. So I gave them a quick rundown, a little bit about what you do in the hobby too, while we were waiting. So. All right. So what'd you do after the nursing?
After the nursing, I ended up doing some ornamental welding, which is a lot of like picket fencing and stuff like that, and designer specific welding.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So you really are a jack of all trades. I mean, you've done how many different types of things? Just off the top of your head, how many different types of jobs have you held?
I'd say at least 30 different types throughout since I was 12. I mean, I'm going to be 44 years old. I bred horses and I trained horses too, and that was by just a fluke thing that for a job interview, and he got the job, but he had a DUIs on his record and he couldn't drive there, so I just drove him there every day. And the owner looked at me and says, "Do you have farm experience?" I'm like, "I grew up on a farm." And they're like, "We could use your help." All right. So.
And you became a breeder, and that I remember you talked about that. It actually did have help you out a little bit when you started out with the shrimp, correct?
Yep.
Oh, I think we.
I mean, we can keep on going if I could pull off. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I don't want you to waste
All right.
your time driving home.
No,
I don't want to take you away from your
no, 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 no,
family.
no, 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 no. If I could pull pull off, if I can, has like a Starbucks there, I'll just pull off and I'll just join their Wi-Fi while I'm talking to you. So
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. So
Okay. All right. Well, uh, yeah, you probably need a coffee. It's been a little while. Do you drink coffee in the afternoons too? I know you're a big coffee drinker in the morning.
coffee anytime I can.
Yeah, he's still breaking up. Um, well, so let's take a real quick look at the chat here while we're waiting. I see just a ton of people. I can't go through and say hi to everybody, but I do appreciate there's 52 people watching. I appreciate you all coming in and hanging out with us. Joe will get there soon to a location, and we'll be able to pick his brain a little bit more and learn more about him. Again, he does a lot behind the scenes for the Fish Fam. Very involved with Aquashella. Just does all kinds of stuff. Oh, I see you moving now. I think we might have you back for now. So we were talking about. Oh, now you're the horse breeding. Did anything when you were breeding horses help you with the shrimp breeding? Was there anything there that carried over at all? Any kind of concepts or anything?
You were kind of breaking in and out. So
Yeah. We're gonna. Are you pretty close to a place?
give me one. I'm getting up to a place. I just gotta go over and bypass some of these cars, and then let me get to the next exit. There was an accident, that's why it's like kind of crappy. So
I saw the light.
Should have a nice place someplace. So.
Okay. Yeah, so Joe does a lot for the Fish Fam, for Aquashella. Again, he's given us so many different things. Just a great guy. He really has helped the Aquatic Morning Show, step up from, not that Jess couldn't do it on her own, but she was doing a great job. But he's really helped out to help push that up and get it to where it belongs. She's, if you don't watch that, go over and watch that on Mains, Tails, Fur, and Fins, the Aquatic Morning Show. And the mods will drop the link for it. But it's a great show. It's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they talk about the streams from the night before and all the events coming up. And then we talk on different articles, and they have guests. And it's just it's a very cool podcast type thing. And Yellowstone Aquatics, thank you very much. Tyler Volk is the owner of Liquid Gardens. Tyler is a friend of Joe's, and Joe is the official. The only place you can buy that fertilizer is from you, correct, Joe?
That's correct.
So Liquid Gardens, they make very cool, powdered separate fertilizers, and he has given us one of those kits as well for the Fish Fam Christmas. Now it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good.
I got caught up in this back traffic, but I'm still gonna pull off up here when I see a McDonald's or whatever else. I can use your Wi-Fi.
Okay, sounds good. So I was asking if anything to do when you were breeding horses, if there was any concepts at all that came across to shrimp. Was there any mindset or concepts that you were able to apply when you started breeding shrimp?
The genetics. So when I was breeding horses, we had a specific stud that we had. And he was a red roan. So I knew about if I took a red roan and I mixed it with the chestnut, the percentage of so it was one of those things that I could transfer the knowledge of the genetics and splitting the breeding back and forth towards the shrimp. It helped me a little bit better than the random, if I mix red and blue, do I get purple? It doesn't work like that, It's all about specific genetics. So
Gotcha. So at least it gave you a running start when you started doing that.
Yes.
Okay, so we got up to the point that you were doing the welding, the decorative welding. What came after that, if you remember?
I pretty much did that, and then I ended up moving back down to the cities, worked for a company called Storms Manufacturing, which I did more welding for them. And then I had a freak accident where the power went off in our town, and I've dropped a bunch of steel in my hand, and I had to get pins and plates in my hand, and I was out of work for a year. Yeah, it sucked. And then from at the end of that one, I got into the whole horse, back into horses.
Gotcha. And what finally got you up to the shrimp side of things? What made you? I don't want to say what got you into the hobby, but what made you go from the horse breeding and all that kind of stuff into the shrimp, being the shrimp shack guy?
All right. So what really got me into it is I was dating a girl that wanted to get a fish aquarium, and I was like, all right, we get a fish aquarium, and we ended up getting a fish aquarium. She didn't want to let it cycle, and she put a goldfish in there right away, and it died, of course. Yeah. And I tried to do the best thing like I would do as a parent, is try to match the goldfish. I couldn't do it, and went over and I went to a local Petco. And I said, who the hell would ever get these little things? Who would do this? And I was just fascinated by these little shrimp. I'm like, who would spend $4 on this little thing? And I went on Facebook and I found a local group called Minnesota Shrimp Keepers and Breeders. Saw it was a very active page. Then I looked on Facebook and I saw that there's many other pages. I contacted a local guy that was in it and asked him if I could come to his house. I went to his house and he said, this is what I do. I do this part-time and it's very successful. And I'm like, I think I might get into this. And I bought some shrimp off him and went over, and then I started like doing more splitting back and forth and created a line called the Blackberries. From that, I ended up going over and started seeing this post about an international shrimp contest. And I'm like, what is this? And went over and I asked people, I said, hey, should I enter? And they said, it's only $25. Why don't you just give it a shot? It is what it is. Nobody thought I was going to win. I entered, met Chris Luca back in 2017.
Nice.
And went over and Chris came up to me and he's like, hey, you're tied for first. And I got to make the judgment call. And I'm like, I'm what? He's like, how many years have you been breeding? And I'm like, a year? He's like, are you serious? Like, he was so dumbfounded that I only had a year into it. And he's like, I've never seen this black a shrimp. And I'm just like, well, I used to breed horses. It's kind of like, it is what it is. And I ended up winning my category, which was, there's a lot of people entering, into the Neocaradinas. I think at that time there was like 28 entries into it. So it was actually a big category. So, and I beat up people that have been doing it for 8-9 years. And that's what just forced me to be like, look, this is what I want to do. At that time, Joe's Crab Shack was going out of business in Minnesota. I'm like, well, why not Joe's Shrimp Shack? They spent all that money on marketing. Why not I just take the ploy off it and spin it?
Yeah.
And from there, it's just gung-ho, balls the ball.
Nice. So you've worn so many different hats, and I'm going to guess that the shrimp is probably your favorite thing that you've done the whole time. Is that correct?
Yep.
What would be your second?
Don't get me wrong. I love breeding horses. I did it. It took up a lot of time in my life. We ended up getting the 2018 world champion, and it just came to a point where it's just like, when do I make the transition to something that I want to permanently do for the rest of my life? Yeah. Versus working for someone else.
Gotcha. So is horse breeding your second favorite out of all those different hats you've worn? I think, did we lose you on that one?
You lost me a little bit on the audio. I was switching over. Go ahead.
So out of all the different hats you've worn, is horse breeding your second favorite thing, the job that you've done? Gotcha. And they're related. I mean, it's still nature. It's still breeding. It's still,
Yeah. No, I mean, it's I love animals. I love helping people. I actually think the owners of the farm, because they gave me an opportunity to go to the international contest. They always stood behind me. They always like backed me on it. They're just like, I'd have packages sent to the farm, and they'd be like, "Oh, Joe, do you need to go home and go put those in your tank?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do. I need to." And they 100% backed me, and I still talk to them, like Grandma Loretta. I still go over to her house. I snow plow her every winter. Not really snow plow. I shovel her driveway every winter still. And it's been 6 years since I left them, or no, 5 years since I left them,
Gotcha.
and I still go there. They're like a family to me still.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know that I've had that type of experience with a job. You know, I have a sneeze, so I'm trying to get it out or hold it in.
You got that tickle? You got that tickle?
See, the light's right here. If I could just
stare at it like a sun.
It's not working. It's not working.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I just pulled in a McDonald's, so I'm going to kind of switch over to the Wi-Fi over here. Okay.
Okay.
1 second.
Yep. And we'll open up questions here pretty soon to the chat. We're about halfway through already. It's amazing how fast these go. You know, 60 people in here. Appreciate you guys all coming in and hanging out with us.
Appreciate you guys.
And again, if there's anybody new, so the thing is, Joe and I have a conversation. We don't look at the chat the first half. In the second half, we'll open it up, and you guys can ask questions of Joe, and get to learn more about him. I see a lot of awesome people in. A lot of people that got to go to Aquashella, which I am just so jealous about. So jealous.
All right. Should be switching over. Can you see me now?
Can see you. Yep, and we can hear you.
All right, perfect. On the McDonald's Wi-Fi.
There we go. Okay, so we talked about all the different jobs and stuff, and how you got into the shrimp and things. What about hobbies? I bet you don't have very many other hobbies. You sound like you're just really a work guy. You don't probably play a lot of video games or read books or comics or movies.
The last video game console I had is a PlayStation 1. So,
gotcha. Yeah.
I do collect Pokemon. I haven't been in Pokemon my whole entire life. What happened is, I started my retail store January 1st of 2020. I did not know it was going to be a pandemic. The store was doing quite well. At the end of the year, I had a influctuation of cash, so it's either I'd pay taxes on it or I bought inventory. So I decided to buy Pokemon inventory, and I kind of fell into it.
Yeah, that's a smart move.
But now I've sold Logan Paul a card. I've sold to professional football players. They've done promos for me. I was just very successful on that, and it was just a luck. It was just one of those, like, the luck of pulling a specific card and sending it in and getting the best grade possible for it, and then wanting it. So
yeah, my son is a massive. All of my kids are. Oh, my daughter not so much. My oldest son, he's 30, and he's into Pokemon still. And my youngest son is 19. He's really into it. Like, he spends most of his money on Pokemon stuff. So can people buy that stuff through your website too?
Not on my website, but if you actually go to my store, I actually have Pokemon there. So on one of the lives I did with Jess, I was actually, one of the new cards got released, and I was actually hunting for it. The new sets, it was the 25th anniversary, and I was actually going to store, waiting in line, buying the stuff. So
yeah, he's that way too. He absolutely loves that.
So right now it's a lot of people are going to the stores and they buy them out and then they sell to make a profit. I allow kids, if a kid comes in and wants to buy something that costs, I'll sell it to them at MSRP or what I paid for it, to keep the kids involved. That's the biggest thing. That's
good. Now, were you in Pokemon way back in the day? I mean, how did you get involved with Pokemon? Just like you said, you just happened to see it, or what made you think about buying the Pokemon stuff?
One of my buddies that's on Facebook randomly went up to me and said, "Hey, look what I pulled," and I'm like,
"What the hell is that?"
Exactly. I'm like, "What's that?" And then he told me about this page, and I went, I went to this page and he was on there and it was kind of like it's the rest is all history. The page is called Chasing Dimes, and everybody knows me on there. I got so I'm big in the Hmong community, and I got a adopted Hmong name, and everybody's just like, oh, it's Mia Tao. He came in here. Is because I would go on everybody's live, and I'd be on there till 3 o'clock in the morning and making jokes, and they're like, so I was buying Pokemon on there, and my way of getting it as a write-off is I would talk about the Joe Shrimp Shack. You know, hey guys, they're like, hey, yeah, you can buy shrimp on his page here, and they promote me over there too. And then we ended up having a Pokemon birthday party at my store, and I saw all the kids how big of smiles they got that they got to open up Pokemon at the store, and it's just like my girlfriend kind of hates it. I have a huge collection of all sealed product, and she always comes over and she said, "Open it up." I'm like, "Nope, can't open it."
Yeah.
But I will say she did get me a gift because I even got the Pokemon cereal. When the Pokemon Oreos came out, there was a specific one. It was a Mew, it was a limited print one. The first one sold for $15,000, a single cookie, and she ended up buying a box, and her and her daughter are eating them. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, stop! But when I got back from Aquascaper, they came out with Pokemon gum, fruit snacks, and she got me a box.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my God, I got to put it in my collection. She goes, how did I know you weren't going to eat them? I'm like, no, it goes in my collection. I don't open this stuff. I buy one of everything that comes out and I put it in the collection.
Yeah, yeah. My son's the same exact way. It's amazing. Oh yeah, Lefty's in here. Lefty does a lot with it. In fact, my son won some Pokemon cards from Lefty because Lefty does some stuff on Twitch with Pokemon. Big into it. It's so weird to me because it went away for the longest time. You know,
Yep,
not
it
really
did.
went away. It was always around, but its popularity waned big time, and then all of a sudden, boom! It just exploded. I don't know if it was from the Pokemon Go game or what caused it really to
Well, what happened
gain
is
popularity.
during the pandemic, a lot of people that got unemployed, they got extra money, so they had an influctuation of cash coming in as well. Um, and so same with the PPP, a lot of bigger business people had a lot of extra cash. So a, a way to go over and kind of get past a lot of stuff is investment in cards, because cards can fluctuate in pricing on it.
Yeah,
And a lot of insurance companies don't realize if you say, hey, I got a $10,000 Charizard, they'll be like, what?
yeah,
They don't really believe you,
yeah,
to a point where that's where a lot of people were going to stores with their extra cash and buying this because then they could sell it to make more of a profit. So, and that's where we end up getting the scalpers, and that's where the fight in Wisconsin happened, where Target pulled all the Pokemon and sports cards from there because too many people are fighting over it because they could buy an ETB for $50 and sell it for $170. So
yeah,
they could go there and wipe them out of the whole entire store and make $5,000 in one day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Same thing happened in
That's
the
where the
early
popularity
'90s.
came in.
The early
Yeah.
'90s with sports cards was the same thing. But then they just increased the production, and it all just went to hell. Because I collected,
And that's what they're
I
doing.
collected all through
Yeah,
the
that's what they're
'60s and
doing.
'70s, and
Yeah. And that's
the same
that's
stuff
what
you
that's
do.
what Pokemon ended up saying, is that they're going to reprint, and they kind of thought that was going to be the end of all the scalping. Oh no, the 25th anniversary is this year, so they launched the 25th anniversary, and it's been still hot and heavy.
Yeah, yeah, I know. My son's been looking for it a lot. So would you say? Well, I guess collecting that is a hobby. Is there any other hobbies that you have, or is that pretty much it? Just that collecting and work.
That's pretty much. I mean, I used to go hunting, I used to go fishing growing up on the farm, but I haven't had time. I'm pretty much always about aquatics. I work at the store, then after I do wholesale for JBJ, and then from that I usually make the phone calls, and it's really trying on my girlfriend, because she stepped in this situation where you know this is more than just a job for me, it's a lifestyle,
Yeah,
and she agreed upon it, but now it's a little bit too much for her. It's going on 7 months, and it's a lot for her that, hey, Joe is Joe Shrimp Shack till 3, 4 o'clock until he doesn't answer his phone anymore.
yeah.
So
Did she go to Aquashella with you?
No, I gave her the option, but it's tough because she works and she works Monday through Friday at a daycare, and they're so short staffed she can't just take time off.
Yeah.
I wanted her in Jersey, the daughter, to come out there. It just didn't work out.
Gotcha. And you mentioned a daughter. How many kids do you have?
I have two daughters. I have a 25-year-old and I have a 17-year-old. And the girl I'm seeing, she's got a little 4-year-old.
That's quite the spread. That's almost like Drew. Drew's got that, and I saw him in here. He's got that big spread too. And there was good news about Drew's daughter too. And people don't know. Real quick, throw a plug his way. She's still in the hospital, I believe, but there was some improvement he was saying, and she probably will be coming home pretty soon. I hope that's 100% correct. So he's just a great guy. Fishy Biz Aquatics, I'm talking about.
Yes.
So his daughter's been in the hospital for quite some time. She's a newborn. He had twins, and the son came home, but the daughter was stuck there. So looks like they're coming home. Okay.
That was all over the Chicago. Yep.
What's that?
That was right around the Chicago show.
Yeah, actually, even now, I mean, just now, she's still in the hospital. I believe she's still there, but she's gotten better. So she's still, I mean, she's been in the hospital this whole time, months. It's got to be tough. Okay, so we talked about the hobbies. We talked about the different jobs. We talked about your family life. I think that was the basic stuff I wanted to ask. So, and we are halfway through. So why don't we go ahead and open up? We have 65 people in watching. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. If you would, please do the @Rico stand, just so it pops out at me. That's really the only ones I'm going to notice. And I see one already. I'm going to start at 7:04, I see, Eastern time. Dee Dee asked, what is Joe's favorite way to waste time?
It's hard to say because I don't really waste time because
it doesn't seem like
I'm working all the time. So it's just like, I wish I could just waste some time. Oh, I play games on my phone. I will say that I have like some stupid games, and I've been caught with it at work, and I'm like, I know I should be doing water changes, but I really need to play this game. And yeah,
Joe, there's an opportunity there. Joe's Shrimp Shack, the game, a shrimp breeding game.
I actually thought of it because there's only one game on the App Store about shrimp, and it's made over in China, Japan, whatever, and it's so crappy. I'm like, I could, maybe I could. I could. Brett's a friend of mine, and he has the app called Taint.
That would be that'd be awesome. I would play the hell out of that. You could even have them go into the IOC and all that kind of stuff. And is it IOC International? What's it called? The group that you're a member of, the International Shrimp Association. What's it called? What's the international one called?
Oh, International Shrimp Contest. International Shrimp Contest.
ISC. I don't know why I said IOC. I don't know what the hell that is.
Oh, I know. I was just like IOC. What's the new thing of it?
All right. Robert wants to know, what's your favorite Pokemon?
I have always been a Charizard person, but I'm really into Pikachus as well. So I collect Charizards and Pikachus.
Gotcha. Okay. So scrolling down, Lefty would like to know, how is your eyeball?
Oh, so back Lefty, in Chicago, Will Nace, he does the reptiles and stuff. A good buddy of mine. He was drinking one night. He's got size 17 feet, maybe size 20 feet. He's got big old Flintstone feet. If anybody knows, they were actually a dog convention there as well. He tried to sneak up to me, and he took his flip-flop off, and he was going to smack me in the side of the head. But what happened is he has such big feet, the flip-flop wrapped around and actually scratched my cornea a little bit. And I got an eye infection off it. Jeez. And oh yeah, it sucked. And I had to call my doctor, and he's like, well, you should go to the doctor's. And I'm like, I can't, I'm at a show. And he's like, well, what can I do? I said, I need a prescription for my eye. I don't know what to do.
Oh,
and he goes,
okay.
And Lefty, I asked everybody. Lefty volunteered to drive to Walgreens and pick up my prescription for me. Thank you
Yeah,
again, Lefty.
yeah. I remember that part of the story, but I didn't
Yeah.
know. I mean, how many people in the chat can say that they got an eye infection from a flip flop? Now, when
And
I was a
the thing
kid,
is, it's like Will didn't feel bad until I told his wife. And when I told his wife, ooh, he got in trouble.
nice. Now, when I was a kid, we called those flip flops thongs. So getting an eye infection
Yeah,
from a thong would be a whole different thing.
yeah, it would be.
Okay, let's see. Ricky wants to know if you've got a favorite movie or TV show.
Blacklist. I do like the Blacklist. When they came out with their new season, I binge watched it overnight. I think I went to bed at like 5 in the morning.
Is that the one with James Spader?
Yep.
Okay, I've never watched that one, but I like James Spader from from the '80s. All those shows. It's funny to see him now though with that bald head and stuff. And oh, I shouldn't say that. Sorry, you might be sensitive.
No, I'm not sensitive.
Okay. Let's see. I'm not seeing any other questions already. That's weird. Maybe I missed some. Remember, people, give me the at Rico stand if you would. Usually, there's.
Well, let's see what else. I can fill in some time until someone has questions. I have two daughters. A lot of people don't realize that. I have a 25-year-old that is went to college for radiology, and then I have a 17-year-old that is going to college right now to be a marine biologist.
Awesome.
Super proud of both my daughters. I talked to my youngest daughter and I offered her about a year ago if she wanted to work at the store, take over the business, and at that time she didn't want to do it. Just talked to her and she's like, you know what? I thought about it. And she goes, I kind of want to do this on my own, but in 10 years, I'd like to take over. And I'm like, perfect. I'll build this up for you. So hopefully
good.
I can start bringing her to more shows. I invited her to the Orlando show. I invited her to the Chicago show. So we'll see if she has time with college. See if she can come down there because she's got to go to a show and she's got to understand, this is what it's like to see if it's a good fit for her.
Yeah. And what did you say that one was going to school to be?
Marine biologist.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason it was the other one. The other one. That's a cool thing, though. Marine biologist. That's amazing, and that would fit in, especially if she takes some business courses to go along with it. That'd be awesome.
Yep.
Mine was going to be. My daughter was going to be a corner, but I just recently found out she's no longer going to be doing that. But she was going to school to be she was in college. She was going to be a coroner, which is right up her alley because she loves all that kind of stuff. She's a really gory person. She's really into all that. Stephen would like to know what's your favorite mobile game?
I play a lot of like what is it called? The Walking Dead games. So you had the Walking Dead, which was kind of like the Pokemon Go game. I got it when it first came out, and they came up with another spin-off of it. So I play that game a lot. I play a lot of puzzle games where Eric Lucas from BipedShrimp.com, he plays a game, I play a game, and whenever we meet up, we see who's in the higher level. He always beats me. He's always like 4,000 levels above me, and I can never catch up. But sometimes I get a good streak. Sometimes I'll be like, "Ooh, dude, I got like 20. Yeah, I won 20 right in a row." So.
Okay, Visine, what's going on? He'd like to know what's your go-to for breakfast.
I am a farm type person, so I like the old sunny side up eggs, hash browns, and bacon or sausage and toast.
I'm getting hungry now. Here's a good one. Ryan, Natural Aquariums. Does Joe know what his new role would have been if he had stayed in the military? It's a two-part, so answer that part first. Did you know what role or the choices that you had? You weren't going to be forced into something, right?
I would have to look at my testing and basically transfer the score from the testing over to what I wanted to do. I know it was decent for testing and stuff. I just don't know what I would want to do at that time. And I was like super gung ho when I did my tests. My recruiter said, "Hey, you could be this. You could drive truck if you wanted to. You can do any type of mechanical work if you wanted to. We got this one. It's if you wanted to work on chemical weapons, you can go work on nukes." I'm like, "What? What'd you say?" And he's just like, NBC chemical weapon report. I could work on a nuke. He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, let's do this. Never happened. Never happened.
I can't remember who, and I think it was somebody I just interviewed, or they said the same thing. The recruiter lied to them, and then they saw them years later, and the guy he walked up to the guy, and the guy instantly just said, "I'm sorry." He said that's what they told me.
I found out. Yeah, I found out. I joked with another National Guard person because I originally did the National Guard. I signed up full time. I found out that my recruiter in Minnesota here, because we have Camp Ripley, which is the biggest National Guard base there is in the States. He's actually one of the big higher ups now. And I was half tempted to go fight him out and say, "You lied to me.
Yeah,
you lied to me all those years ago.
You're a liar. Here's your nuke." Well,
yeah.
So he wanted to know if that role, whatever you were gonna be forced into, played a role in your decision to leave. But it sounds like you weren't being forced in anything. You had some choices on what you wanted to do next.
I had some choices. Yeah, Bill Clinton was doing a lot of downsizing. So at the time when he downsized, I was actually home on leave. And it was basically, hey, we found out you're downsizing. So when you show up to Fort Snelling, what's going to happen is you're going to get transferred over to Fort Knox, Kentucky. And from there, you would have to decide on a different MOS, which Fort Knox is basically a big tanker area if I wanted to work on tanks. And I said, what's my other choice? They said, well, if you want to leave right now, you can go to college if you want to. We're not going to stop you on that. And at any time, we could recall you back in for 3 years. And I'm like, I'm totally fine with that. I'm a farm boy at the time. I wasn't doing no farm work or anything else. So I was just like, all right, I'll just go back home and go to college.
Gotcha. Papa Shrimp wants to know, what's your favorite music? And he also said, "Go Stars."
Go Stars. I like heavy metal. I'm a big heavy metalist. I like Metallica. I like Pantera. I pretty much listen to everything. I'm not into rap. I don't know what it is. I just don't like tons of bass in my ears and stuff.
Yeah, I've tried to like rap because I do think that it takes a lot of talent, and it is a very, it's a strong musical genre, but I can't. And I do like the metal too. Do you like older stuff like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Deep Purple?
Yes.
And Sabbath, all those?
Yep. I like the old Headbangers Ball from MTV.
Oh yeah. That was a lot of fun. Yep. Always watched that. I think was that one? I think that one was on Saturday nights. Could have been Friday nights. It was one of those. Let's see. So we got that. Zen Ginger. Hey, Zenny. She'd like to know, is there an easy setup? Hold on, let me read this through. Okay. Is there an easy setup for RO and remineralizing for Caradina shrimp if you live in a place like Texas with rock water and can't use tap water?
Yes.
An easy setup.
Yes. All right. So I am sponsored by Bulk Reef. So I have the Bulk Reef supplies. I always sell the Bulk Reef supplies. Their RO systems take roughly about 5 minutes to hook up. It's super simple. I tell people depends on what they have for water. Either go a 4-stage or a 5-stage. Hook it up. Takes 5 minutes, and this remineralize with your favorite remineralizer. I use 2 different types. If I use on big tanks, I use the Shrimp King because it's a salt. If it's the smaller tanks, I use a lot of the Brightwall because it's a liquid version.
Gotcha. And a real quick shout out to Bulk Reef. They also, as most people know, for the Fish Fam Christmas, they gave us an RODI unit. They also gave us a titanium heater with an Inkbird controller. So very cool of them as well. Okay. Mark Stilson. Oh, he jumped on me. Hold on. There it goes. When Joe hunted, what game did he chase, and what was his favorite firearm to use?
So I did a lot growing up. I did the pheasant, I did the duck, I did the grouse, I did the deer. It was all about spending time with my dad, and I took that for granted that whole entire time. And I didn't realize that my dad remembered everything. He remembered when I shot my first grouse. He remembered everything. And I'm very thankful for that. He asked me, because as time gets older and stuff, he asked, because I came from a split family. He asked me if I ever regretted moving in with him, and I said, you may not have gotten all my sports games and stuff, but I will give you this. I got off a week every winter to go trapping, and I said whenever I wanted to go hunting, you always took me hunting. My favorite was, I'd probably say the deer hunting, because that was the most I could spend is 2 weekends with my dad, away from everybody else. We went up to the cabin, and it was us.
Yeah.
So I'd say deer hunting, and then I use the 7mm mag.
Is he still around? Your dad's still with us?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I always ask. Mine are gone. I'm older, but I just always ask. I'm just curious, because that affects people too. People oftentimes change once their parents move on. Ricky would like to know how many cards you have in your collection. Any clue?
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you. Like 5,000 count boxes. I probably got 6 of them at the store completely full. I have a full one of those big racks we use for the shrimp racks and everything. That's completely full of sealed product, and I don't know how many, almost a complete set of the ETBs that came out. I'd probably say, give or take, 500,000 cards, if not more.
Yeah. I still have a lot of my sports cards back from 60s, 70s. I just got rid of Joe Montana's rookie not that long ago. I got some of the big ones, but it was all sports stuff. Dee Dee's got a great question for you. If Joe could have a cartoon character be his real life best friend, who would he choose and why? Dee Dee.
Ooh, who would I choose? There's so many good ones, but I'd probably say Chili Willy.
Oh wow, yeah, man.
I always liked Chili Willy, but everybody, like all my friends, would probably say Marvin the Martian. Just because I come from a German background, so I hate hair. That's why I shave my head and stuff. But I am a hairy wildebeest. They think everybody always joked with me, saying, "Hey, you're like the freaking little monster that the Marvin the Martian had."
Oh, gotcha. And I feel a little attacked about that "I hate hair" comment there.
I'm sorry. I don't like hair on me. I don't like hair on me. So
I think mine would have been Shaggy, because he had all the Scooby snacks and stuff, and he would make those big sandwiches. Zoinks! That's
yeah.
Shaggy would be my guy. Guppy Guru, what's up, Peter? He wants to know where do you want to go collecting for wild shrimp?
I would like to go Indonesia. I think Indonesia would be a unique place. I'd be super stoked to go to Indonesia. I know their JBJ and Dennerly are working on some things to get me traveling, but it's all about the travel restrictions.
Yeah.
This is what I got to kind of tell people is like, even though you get cleared, if something did happen to me due to the virus, the company that sends me could be liable, which, nobody ever wants to do that. So that's why, like, all these aquashellas, I'm going as Joe from Joe's Shrimp Shack. It's a separate entity that was very specific in our contracts, is that I can make the best decisions for my business, and that was me going there as myself.
Yeah. It's stuff when we talked to Corey, that was some of the things he brought up, things that us regular people that don't have those businesses don't ever even think about. So if Joe could go back to another time period, where would he go to?
I would like to go back to the 40s. I think I'd be the whole mobsters and everything else like this. It's an era that I still open up the doors for ladies and stuff. I want to go back to that era. I think it would be kind of a good one for me.
I would like to go back to the 60s as myself. I mean, I lived through the 60s, but I was, young, and I'd like to go back as myself now. And I think I'd fit in pretty good. Greg the Guppy guy, what's up, dude? Cake or pie, and the favorite one of whichever one it is?
Pie. Peach pie.
Peach pie. I have never had a peach pie. I love pie. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world.
Peach pie is good. Peach pie is good as long as they put sugar on top of it and then they bake it. That is the best.
Peach pie. I'm going to have to hunt down and find a peach pie. There you go, people. I say don't send me stuff, but somebody finds a peach pie, I'll take that. You can send that.
Who's ever down to Georgia, Who's ever down
Yeah.
in Georgia, make him a peach pie.
Bring me some peach pie. Send it. You don't have to bring it. Don't bring it. I don't want to see you, but you can send a pie.
Yeah, just send the pie. Trust me, you can get pies through the mail. I get stuff through the mail all the time. There's no shame in my game. I'll go on my lives and I'll be like, "Hey guys, I'm kind of hungry right here."
They just started doing that to me not that long ago. They started sending me stuff just out of the blue. I had a really good friend. He's in here, Daniel Velez. He sent me some cheeses and ham from Spain, and people have been sending me things, and it makes me uncomfortable, to be honest. And I've told them not to, but I'll take pie. I'll take pie.
I'll tell you this right now. When I was part owner at New Wave, I would have to sit on interviews, and I had one question. My question was, "Do you know how to make banana bread?" And that was like, I love banana bread, and I actually had customers. I still have customers. They come in and they bake me stuff, and they bring it there.
Yeah.
And Jen always said, you have people bring you stuff all the time for food. Do you ever feel guilty about that? I said, what? I don't feel guilty about it because I help them along. And at the same sense, I wish I had one person every day bring me stuff. I would never have to worry about lunch then. I could just eat the food that gets brought to me.
Do you ever worry about that stuff, though, as somebody maybe putting some Visine or something into something, or putting something into
I had a stalker that randomly showed up at my house. Like, I got off work. Nobody really knows where I live. I only had 2 friends at my house before. I'm very keen on my personal life. Like, my personal life is my personal life unless I share it. Yes. All of a sudden I got home, and about 2 seconds later I heard a knock on the door, and I opened up the door, and this person was there with a bag of groceries, and I'm like, oh. And I was like, thanks. I appreciate that. And then they came to the store one time, and they left a bag of cooked groceries next to the where we had frozen food. And that kind of freaked me out a little bit right there, but
yeah.
Otherwise, I've eaten sour cream when it's 95 degrees out where it's sat in my car for 2 days. I got rock hard stuff.
I think it's cottage.
I was in the military. Yeah, I MREs, man. I can pretty much live through a lot.
Gotcha. All right, we're closing in. We've got just a few minutes left here. So, hold on, it's going to jump. That's the thing. It jumps. Okay. Where was it? It was a Papa Shrimp. There it is. Okay. Do you have RODI units on your site somewhere? He couldn't find any, and he lives in Texas with Rockwater, like Zen said. You do not sell them on your site?
I don't have I don't sell them on my sites. What I tell people is just get a hold of me, and I can sit and I can talk them through it. And then I tell them to go on the bulk reef site. Whatever you find on the bulk reef site, just get a hold of me. I can usually sell it a little bit cheaper than what they do, because I'm not advertising it on my site. If I advertise it on my site, then I have to sell it at the minimum advertised price, and then they just drop ship it for me. What's great about that is it's worked out for us is whenever there's issues with a product, I tell people to contact me. Don't call Bulk Reef because I can talk them through it just like their customer service can. So it actually saves a lot of time on theirs.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I can see what we talked about before. You talked about them in sponsorship and stuff, and I can see why they responded the way they did about sponsoring you. Okay, so real quick, we just got a few minutes left here. Diego, what's up? Oh, Diego's just saying hi to everybody. Hey, Diego, good to see you. Do you have a favorite superhero? That's from Ricky, RB Animals. Are you into superheroes at all?
Thor.
Gotcha.
I bought my car because of it. I bought an Avenger. So, but my car's named too.
Nice. Oh, this is a good one. Yellowstone Aquatics would like to know if there's anybody you really look up to or any role models that you have. Uh-oh, we lost your sound. Audio still looks good. Or, excuse me, video still looks good.
Mute them off there.
There we go. There you go.
There we go. So one second, let me back out of this thing. There we back out. There we go. Oh, perfect. I really look up to my friend Manny. Manny works for JBJ. Manny has been through thick and thin with me. I met him back in 2017 at the International Shrimp Contest. I got introduced by Chris Lukup to him. He's such a good friend. Like, when we were talking about doing the separation from the saltwater to freshwater, he actually flew from California to Minnesota, and he talked to me, and then he knew I was going out to New York ahead of the show, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to go out to New York with you. You're not going to be there by yourself. I'm going to give you a tour of New York. And
Nice.
that was great. He gave me a tour of New York. I've never seen the ocean in person. Never.
Yeah.
I was part owner of a saltwater store. Never seen an ocean in person. When he took me on the tour of New York, and he's like, I got a special place to bring you. I was like, oh, I'm going to see the ocean. And he brought me to this place, and I looked down, and I said, is that the ocean? He goes, no, that's the Hudson. I'm like, damn. So I still haven't seen the ocean. He said I should come out to California. Eric Lucas said the same thing. I could take a tour and stuff. I know that I'm going to do a giant video of that when it happens. I'm 44 years old. Never seen the ocean up close and personal. I'll probably end up jumping in it. So
Yeah. I've seen both. I've been, because I lived in Arizona for a long time, so I've been to California quite often, seen the ocean over there. Now I do live in New York, but I'm way upstate. We live right on Lake Ontario, which is like the ocean. I mean, you can't see across it, right? It's huge, but been to the Atlantic as well. Okay, let's see. We're just a few minutes left. Whip's World. Man, they're coming up with some questions tonight. I don't know if they did their homework or search for weird questions to ask or what. But Whip would like to know: you've been given an elephant. You can't give it away. You can't sell it. What do you do with the elephant?
he'd be my friend.
What's
I'd
that?
have him. He'd be my friend. I'd have him.
Yeah.
I would. I think I would. I think I would go over and find some property. I don't know if I could have it in Minnesota though. If I couldn't, I'd get a hold of Will because he's opening up a zoo down in Florida.
There you go.
But I'd have him as my friend. I think that'd be so cool. I'd be like, give me a big hug, you know.
I'm surprised elephants aren't invasive in Florida yet. And what would you name it? What would you name it?
Of course, I'd probably do Dumbo just because it's
Yeah.
like, you know.
Gotcha. All right. I'm not seeing any more questions, and that's actually a good time because I don't want to keep you any longer. I know you need to get home to your family. Joe, I appreciate the hell out of you hanging out with us and
Anytime.
taking time out of your day. Everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with us. There's still 60 people watching.
I
Again,
don't mind talking later if you want to talk later. It doesn't matter. So.
Oh, you still got time?
She already sent me messages. She already knows I'm talking on here, so she already sent me messages. She's cool.
Okay. Well, if anybody has any more questions, why don't you try and get them in now? And sorry, my daughter just sent me a message.
Our fishy family is getting big. I'm really liking the way it's turning out. I'm super proud of Jess and Rocco. I'm super proud of you too. And all the smaller creators. I'm really proud of all of them for us all kind of forming together and forming a little fishy fam and stuff.
Yeah.
I still go over and I still put that challenge out to the bigger creators. Look, team up with someone smaller. Remember, we all put on our pants the same way. You were at our spot at one time. Just give us some advice, on how to pursue our passion to make it even better. And to keep on all these smaller creators, keep on joining the fishy fam, reaching out for help. I mean, I'm loving this.
I've been on the outside a lot looking in. I moved a lot as a kid, a lot. I went to 13 different schools just through high school, just through the first 12 years of school. I went to 13 different schools. We moved a lot. So I was always that guy on the outside looking in. I know what it's like to be on the just out there. And so I'm all about community building and trying to bring people in and get them involved and make them feel welcome. That's just who I am as a person. And I see a lot of other people like that as well in the fish fam. And I really, 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 it's not just lip service. I truly believe that there's an incredibly strong community here of just great people, and people do look out for each other when there's a problem, when somebody's going through some things.
Big Rich, I think Big Rich said it really well one time. Um, Rich kind of went over and said, a lot of people that have a shady background um, do turn up to do a lot of aquatics because it forms a lot of inner peace for them. And him saying that, I sat there and I thought, I was like, you know what? There's a lot of inner peace on this, and there's a lot of people willing to help other people because they found the inner peace.
Yeah.
Where other
100%.
things, like when I bred horses, it was so competitive. Anybody asks you a question, it's like, what are they looking for on that one? Here, it's like look at it. The Flip Aquatics, Eric Lucas, Grant Netter, we all can come together. I mean, technically, we're all competitors, but we all hang out. We're all friends.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. I think we found our inner peace to a point where it's like we're here to help people make the hobby better for everybody else.
Yeah. I'm with you. I agree with that, and it's been fun. I've only been involved with the Fish Fam for about a year and a half, and I've been involved with a lot of communities over my lifetime. A lot of communities. I get heavy into things, and I've never been so welcomed into any community before ever. And I don't know, I just love the Fish Fam. I really do. It's become a huge part of my life. My best friend in the whole world came over today. I haven't seen him in forever. And the whole first hour we were together, what did I talk about? Fish Fam. I talked about hanging out with everybody and just all the fun I've been having and all the good stuff that's happened. And I haven't seen this guy. I mean, he's like a brother to me. And I haven't seen him in forever. And all I did was talk about the Fish Fam for the whole first hour. I had to stop myself and say, okay, let's talk about something else now.
Well, it kind of happens at the shows too. It's like, we go to a show and everybody thinks, hey, when the show ends, you're done. No, we all hang out. We're all talking about the same stuff till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Even now, like when I hang out with friends, I kind of go up to them and I'm like, hey, can we just not talk about aquatics for one night? I'll come over and I'll dig post holes for you. But let's not talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, just come over and dig post holes for me. And I come over and I dig post holes, and we set the old fence up, and it's like, hey, you want to come look at my fish tanks? Yeah, let's go.
And I've only been to one event. I went to the Keystone Clash, and I got to meet a lot of really cool people there. A lot of them are in the chat right now, and that was by far my favorite part. Just like everybody says, when you go to these events, it's meeting all those amazing people. That's the best part of it. I absolutely loved it. And we did the same thing. We were out in the parking lot till, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, maybe not 3. It was probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. Lucas Bretz was there, Susie Q. I mean, just a bunch of people. We're just all hanging out, having a good time. It was a blast. Here's a question for you. Do you like to read anything? Is there anything that do you read anything for fun? Comic books?
Clive Cussler. I have a thing for. I like Clive Cussler. It's the one book that I can actually start reading it and I actually kind of like zone into it, like I'm there and I can actually image it. So I've always liked Clive Cussler.
He does a lot of marine stuff, doesn't he? A lot of stuff on the water. Is that who I'm thinking of?
A lot of, but Clive Cussler, he does a lot of with Dirk Pitt and everything.
Okay,
yes. It's a lot of treasure hunting towards it on water or on land and stuff. And I could just, as I'm reading it, it's just I can just naturally just picture myself there.
Yeah. I've read some of those. Yeah, I read a lot, and actually, my wife's grandfather, he's 94. He oftentimes gives me the books after he's done reading them, but they're the huge font. The book is the book's like this big because the font is so big. Here's a good one too. Dee Dee wants to know, if you find yourself in a bad mood, well, how do you pick yourself up? What's the thing that you go to that really improves your mood?
That's a good question. So I'm pretty much like, I've always been a happy-go-lucky person, but I can't be happy all the time. I try and stay in a happy mood and stuff. For me though, like when I get in a bad mood and stuff, I just try and do anything to get me like if I'm driving and I'm just all of a sudden I got in a poopy mood and stuff, I try to pull over and I try and do something else just to change my mind off it. It used to be, get into aquatics, but now I'm doing aquatics. So then it's like, okay, do I get in a bad mood? Do I just go over and just open up some Pokemon cards? I have so many Pokemon and stuff like that. And that's where it's stuff. A lot of times I do reach out to my friends. Reach out to them as like, hey, I just need someone to talk to, just kind of like I just want to air some stuff. And half the time it's like, okay. And I don't know if they just put the phone down and walk away and just let me air it out. And I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard you 110%. But I try and stay in a happy-go-lucky mood. But look, everybody is, can get kind
Yeah.
of moody and stuff. And
Yeah.
I ain't saying I'm a perfect person. I'm far from it. I mean, all my friends say, you know what, I never want to work for you, Joe. I can keep my personal life personal and my business life business. So I've had friends come work with me and they're like, damn, you're kind of a butthead for a boss. I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, at 5 o'clock when it shuts off, I forget everything that happened there. And I'm like, hey, buddy, you want to go out and have something to eat? And they're like, but you yelled at me earlier. I'm like, that was that. We're past that. Get past that, dude.
Gotcha.
It's tough. It's tough at my store because the whole concept is, I put so much time and effort, the past 6 years, everything I have is into it. And it comes with a lot of trust and, trying to find the right match that, I got some expensive shrimp and, everything can die off.
Yeah. And it's never going to be the same because no matter who you get in, they don't own it. They don't have the same. No matter how good of a friend they are, they don't have the same. I mean, it's your baby, and nobody else is going to look at it the same way. Paul Sotera just has a comment. Louisville Triple Crown event tickets are $10 off until June 1st, and I've already got mine. I've got mine, so we'll probably we're going to be there. I'm pretty sure we're going to be there. I didn't book the hotel yet, but we've got tickets for the event. You going to go to that one, Joe? Triple Crown?
I remember everybody talking about it, and I tell people I am a scatterbrain. Because I have the store stuff, I have JBJ stuff, I have International Shrimp Con. I always tell people you have to remind me about stuff.
Yeah, you told me
like
that.
Rico's incident. You got to send me reminders and stuff like this. Like you brought it up right now, and I'm like, I remember them talking about that. I forgot totally otherwise. So if someone wants to shoot me a message on it, I can look more into it and stuff. I don't have a problem with that. I love going to events. So
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a big shrimpy type thing, but there's the American Killie Association, the American Cichlid Association, the American Live Bear Association, and the Rainbow one, the ANGFANA, something like that. The Rainbow. So all four of those groups are getting together for the event in Louisville, Kentucky. So it's going to be it's going to be massive.
I used to have a nice collection of rainbow fish. I think I got some YouTube videos of. I had 120 fat boy and I had 200 rainbow fish in there. Everybody's like,
nice.
Isn't that too many fish in there? And I was like, I'm the one that has to do the water changes. Don't worry about that.
Rainbows. I've only got Bozemanys now. I also have Pseudomcgills, which people still consider rainbow fish. There's three different types of Pseudomcgills all together in that tank, but I've got some good sized Bozemanys in this one. I don't know if you can even see them, but I was looking at them today, and man, they got some colors. They got some nice colors on them. Let's see. Paul says, don't wait to make the hotel reservation. Well, here's the thing, Paul. I might be doing an Airbnb or something. I mean, there's a bunch of hotels in the area. I don't have to be right there. I'm not going to be at the event. We want to be farther away on purpose. So we're thinking about maybe doing an Airbnb. We might even go in with some other fish tubers for that. Rent like a nicer size cabin or house or something for the week.
Airbnb is when you go to shows. If you can get other fish tubers and stuff, it's really good. It's really decent. We found out through JBJ. Usually we just booked hotels and then we went down to Global Pet Expo down in Orlando, and we did this hotel where it was like an apartment building, and we were side by side so we can go back and forth, and we loved it. That's all we're gonna do now. It's because it's like we can go pick up food. We can sit there. And it's something. It's not a sterile environment like a hotel.
Yeah, and you've got to get the right people if you're doing like a house type thing. You got to make sure you know those other people that you're sharing it with. Especially, I don't. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to get into it. You just got to be careful who you're going with. Yeah. You know what? I'm not seeing any more, so I think we are going to shut her down. I want to go get some dinner too. So. So tonight we've got ladies' night. That's Shanna, Jess, and Dee Dee. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Great show, and I bet you tonight's going to be an amazing show because, excuse me,
Right.
they'll be talking about Aquashella and how excited they were from it, and we'll learn a lot about that. At the same time, you've also got Bentley Pasco at 9 p.m. as well. So don't miss either of those shows. Great shows to watch. Um, Joe, thanks again. I really do appreciate. I know how
Thank
busy
you.
you are
Anytime.
getting caught up,
Anytime.
and I think all you people in the chat too. There's still 65 people watching. I appreciate you guys. Next week we have and Paul. Yeah, always cancel the reservation. Yeah, everybody's telling me that. I'm not worried. Not worried in any way. I mean, I can drive. There's hotels all over the place. It's not, if I have to drive an hour away, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm not too concerned about it. Yep, I understand about canceling reservations and stuff. Believe me, people have been telling me nonstop. I know how it all works, and not too concerned. Anyways, next week we have Callie from the BCAS, Bucks County Aquarium Society. She's a young lady who's the president of the Bucks County Aquarium Society. She was also heavily involved with the Keystone Clash. She was on the committee and did a lot for that. So she's going to be our guest. Looking forward to that one too. Joe, is there anything you'd like to talk about before we take off? Anything you got coming up, or want to tell anybody?
No, I want to thank all you listeners out there. We greatly appreciate you guys. I know I'm not a huge YouTuber and everything else, but I'm trying to build it up there. Thank you guys for subscribing to me. Thank you for subscribing to the Aquatic Morning Show. I want to thank McDonald's because I'm literally sitting in their parking lot. The manager's been staring at me through her. She's interviewing people, and she keeps on staring at me, and it's just like, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it right there.
You better go buy a coffee or something just to say thank you.
So, but I would also think, you do a great job, and I can't wait for this Christmas, to be a part of this whole entire Christmas giveaway that you're doing.
Well, thank you. That's and again, thank you for your contribution and talking about it and stuff. It's gotten huge. It's gotten way bigger than I thought it would ever be, and I'm super excited for the actual event to happen. Those 2 weeks from the 19th through the 31st. Right now, there's 36 different people. Joe, I don't know if you're signed up on that part. Yeah, you signed up, didn't you? You did. There you are, right there. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that you were signed up. You're signed up on the part for me to come up as well. So we've got 36 channels signed up so far to have me come up and play Santa Claus. Again, if you're interested in that, people, there's nothing out of your pocket. It's all from donations from people like Joe, from different companies, just from all kinds of different, just fish fan people too. If you'd like me to do that, the only requirement is you have to live stream semi-regular. I mean, it could be once a month. It could be, you don't have to be on a schedule or anything like that. Just as long as you live stream and you're a Fish Fam member. And all that means is you make fish content and we're aware of you. Even if you don't hang out with us all the time, we're just aware of you. That's all that means. There's not like super requirements. So, and that's it. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and we'll see you in the stream tonight. See you guys.